Hey friends, today we'll be doing an unboxing and first impression of 2 new fragrances to my collection. So let's talk about that. All right, John here for Proverbs 27:9 Fragrances. And like we said, today we're going to be doing unboxing and first impression of a couple of new fragrances to my collection. Before we do that, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button on the video. Make sure that you are a subscriber. And if you are, we appreciate you returning and watching this video as well. And but if you're not, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you're notified of every time we upload that sweet smelling fragrance related content. All right, let me grab my box here. Got these at fragrancebuy.ca. Gotta get my knife. There's a lot of new fragrances that have been announced that's coming out. That's not what I've got for you today. Oh, I'm opening it wrong. Forget. It's always just an easy pull tab there. The fragrances that I have, I don't know the year of the release. I know they're both newer releases. These ain't oldies. But there are some new fragrance releases that have got my attention, some things I'm excited about. So I may do a news, fragrance release video. Haven't done one of those since Guerlain announced that they were putting their fragrances in the L'Homme EDT bottles and coming out with a new Habit Rouge Instinct, La Instinct if you're French. Let me show you what I got here. Well, I'll do this one because I'm not gonna do this one in this video, but got a Prada Luna Rossa Ocean. Didn't want to show it too long because I didn't want you to know which one it is, because I've got a video coming out on it. But we've got from Kenzo, got Kenzo Homme. This is the Eau de Toilette. There are 3 of those, Eau de Toilette Intense and maybe Eau de Parfum or Parfum. And I didn't realize this one was an unboxed one, but it's all right. I'll go ahead and pull it out. This is my first fragrance from Molinard, and it is Santal Insolant. So since I've got it already out, I'll start with it. Again, this is the first fragrance that I have bought from Molinard. I've had my eye on them for a while. They have a lavender fragrance called Lavande that is supposed to be a very good lavender fragrance. Supposed to be very similar to Tom Ford's really expensive lavender fragrance. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I think it's, well, I can't even remember. But anyways, I've almost bought it a few different times. But I tell you what, they have a really nice presentation. I mean, it's simple, just a rectangular purple bottle. But I like the color of the kind of brass, color scheme here with a nice metal plaque on the front. Nice shape to their cap. Got the house name there on it in that brass as well. The cap is thin, but there's a little bit of heft to it. I mean, it's actually pretty heavy. It's a metal cap. And first time ever smelling this. I bought it because lately I've been getting into sandalwood. I bought a sandalwood, it's sandalwood and incense. Let me show you the atomizer here. Not a really good atomizer. You can see there. Oh, sorry. Very nice presentation other than the atomizer. The cap doesn't click into place, but it is super tight. There's no chance that's coming off. So let's get into my first impression of this. Again, I'm wanting a lot of sandalwood. Okay. All right. So yeah, there is a nice woody blast there. Sandalwood it's an interesting wood. It doesn't come across dry and chippy like cedar usually does, or Isoe Super, which is a synthetic wood molecule. And Isoe Super a lot of times comes across like pencil shavings. Cedar can come across a lot like wood chips. Sandalwood is more of a creamy, milky almost type of wood smell. It's very smooth, very, very round. So here, this has a lot of other stuff going on with it. It's very spicy. There is, kind of gives you a spice bomb, or actually no, more along the lines of like, what is that tower fragrance that is very, very popular? I smelled it one time in a shop in South Korea. I'll pop it up on the screen. It smells similar to that. A little similar to African leather, but it's not near as loud and as pungent with the spices there. But there is definitely some nice melange of spices. There's a very resinous nature to it, and there's a very leathery nature to it. Almost, I don't think it's oud, but it almost comes across kind of like an oud fragrance, probably more leather. So I didn't realize this was a leather fragrance, but the leather is very prominent. It's very ambery, very resinous. It's a little smoky with the spices. I don't know what spices they are, but they're coming across Middle Eastern, or African sort of, there's, it's not really cumin. I don't get any funky body odor. I think there's some cardamom, maybe some saffron, definitely some pepper. There's some other stuff. There's a lot of spices going on here. So this is going to be a good cool weather, cold weather fragrance. It's warm, it's spicy, it's inviting. It's very well blended, it's high quality. It's nothing too overly synthetic here. The leather would be the only hint of a synthetic vibe that you get. And of course you can't get leather juice. All leather notes are either made up by making an accord of natural notes or by using a synthetic artificial leather note. There's some green nature to it as well. I would have liked it to have been brightened up with some citrus, because I like in the opening of my fragrances to have kind of a bright nature, either use citruses or some florals. I'm not really smelling a lot of that. To me, it's very masculine though. I mean, there's not a feminine, there's no feminine nature to it. So, I mean, you would have to like masculine fragrances to like that. And I thought it might come across a little softer. I thought maybe, you know, Molinard, that was kind of known for that. But hey, I like it. I do like it. Let me show you the bottle again before I go on to the next one. My first impression of Santal Insolant, very nice, masculine, spicy, ambery, woody fragrance. High quality. Very impressed with the quality here. And this thing was dirt cheap. 30, 40 bucks for a niche fragrance that retails for much, much, much more than that. All right, let's go to the other one here that we're going to do here, and it's Kenzo Homme. Now this is a rebranding and a reinterpretation of their older men's fragrance, Kenzo Pour Homme. This one just marketed as Kenzo Homme. And comes into, you know, the bamboo bottle. I think the presentation is super cool on this. You got the house stamped in the top there. Nice heavy glass. Cap. It clicks into place. And you could hold it by there, but you would want to be careful of that. After pulling that off and on a few times, that's going to get loose. But it's nice, you know. I really like the presentation. Top of the atomizer there. I have a hard time getting this thing to focus. It wants to focus on my face. There we go. Let's see if the atomizer is better than the Molinard one. And yeah, I would say so. Bigger, better blast. Okay. From what I'm getting in the air, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Let me get, okay. So this has a classic, you know, kind of a sort of old school vibe to it. And by old school, I don't mean super old school, more like 90s. This has a 90s vibe to it. But it's been freshened up. It reminds me of something right off the bat that I have either had or my dad had. I mean, it almost has a, what was that?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What was that?
Something fruity coming through. So the initial blast, told you about that lid. Actually, that's because it was on better than I thought it was. But let me spray it on some paper here. Yeah, man, that reminds me of something from the 90s that I wore. Oh, it's on a tip of, maybe the original Nautica. Maybe a little bit. It's got a oceanic, it's not really cool water, but there's something very sea breezy about it. And then there is kind of this, you know, after you first, all right, so first you get this kind of sea breezy blast, this Nautica, not Nautica Voyage, but the original Nautica type of vibe to it. And then there's this kind of green, piney, earthy, mossy almost vibe that really is what kind of makes it smell like something from the 80s or 90s. But then all of a sudden, and there's a little bit of a powdery touch to it, but then all of a sudden there's something fruity coming through. And it's almost like maybe watermelon or cantaloupe, something like that. That's what I was like, hey, what was that? I do think to wear this fragrance, you would kind of want and need to be a little nostalgic. I mean, this does have a little bit of a dated smell to it. Man, that bottle's a fingerprint magnet. It's a little bit of a dated touch on this one. This doesn't smell like it was made in the last 10 years. But if you like that, I think it's a very interesting fragrance. Yeah, so again, it opens up, a blast of the ocean, that sea breeze, that cool water, that Nautica, type vibe. And then it comes along kind of powdery and mossy and green and a little dank and got a little bit of that 80s animalic touch to it. And then some fruit come in. So I'm interested to see how these dry down. In fact, I tell you what I'll do. I've got one on one hand, one on the other. I'm gonna let it dry down, come back, give you my final thoughts. All right, I'm back. And I decided I'm not gonna really talk a whole lot about the dry downs. I'm gonna come back and do full reviews of both of these fragrances. But off my first impression, I like them both. I do think, though, so if you like niche perfumery, if you like leather fragrances, which I wasn't really expecting this to be more of a leather fragrance, with a nice touch of sandalwood and spices, I think you should check this one out. You can get, this is similar to what you'd have to pay for $200 for Memo Paris or Andy Tower to get this spicy leathery fragrance, and you can get this for like, I think it was like $30, somewhere in that range. Very impressed with that. I'm gonna come back with a full review. Kenzo Homme, Eau de Toilette. You've gotta like older fragrances. You've gotta have, you've gotta like things like, Aramis, Dracar Noir, the old original Nautica, Cool Water, the original version. You've got to kind of like fragrances like that to want to dig this. But guess what? I do. So I'll come back with full videos on both of those fragrances. All right, let me know if you have smelled either one of these. Have you ever smelled anything from Molinard? I know they're not really sold over here in America that much. And, I've never seen them at Macy's, never seen them at Nordstrom, never seen them at Dillard's or any place like that. You can find them on the discounter websites, heavily discounted. So tell me what you think about them. All right. Till we see you down the road, we say God bless. Frag on, frag.